Welcome back to the Pearl Report. 1 in 50 people in Hong Kong has registered to donate body parts posthumously, and doctors are appealing for more donors as hundreds of patients succumb to organ failure every year.
"47-year-old Vanessa Chow is one of the lucky ones. She had a heart transplant in time. Her symptoms began when she was 12.
My grandma loved me. From Form 1 till 5, she would carry my school bag up the slope to take the school bus. I would faint and she never noticed. I would wake up and keep walking. At school, I climbed some stairs and pant frantically.
Back then, she says doctors knew only to give her vitamin pills. In Form 5 at 17, Vanessa's condition significantly deteriorated.
Once after an exam at school, I climbed 4 flights of stairs in one breath and collapsed. Sent to hospital, doctors told my mom my heart had grown a lot bigger.
That's because she had hypertrophic cardiomyopathy.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is abnormal thickening of the heart muscles responsible for pumping blood to the rest of the body. Basically, you end up with a very low blood volume.
I started on heart meds, 1 pill per day to relieve the strain on my heart, making it pump blood easier.
Subsequently, 2 of Vanessa's 3 sisters were diagnosed with the same disease. Second sister Venus suffered a mild stroke in the 1990s. 3 years later, after giving birth to a son, Venus' condition worsened.
The heart muscles fail to contract properly, so it's what we call a burnt-out phase. Usually, patients will require heart transplantation.
In 1995, Venus died, aged 31.
Later, nurses told me there appeared to be 2 suitable hearts for her 2 days after her death. It was too late.
In March 2002, 4th sister Dilys, aged 33, was also waiting for a heart transplant.
Just 17 days after my mom passed away, my little sister died as well. I was traumatized.
The family's heart condition is hereditary.
It was not from our mom's heart disease, but the cardiopulmonary disease that killed our father.
A year later, doctors confirmed Vanessa had heart failure.
Her cardiac function is just about a quarter of a normal person. So she actually was in end-stage heart failure. Heart transplantation is probably the only option viable for her.
Vanessa's son was only 8 years old.
I prayed to stay alive to raise my son.
She waited for months, then got a call from the Grantham Hospital.
There's a heart that suits you. I was rapturous. At first, I cried for half an hour.
This 6-hour surgery changed her whole life.
The moment after the heart graft, I was amazed and ecstatic. 3 or 4 days afterwards, I could go to my room and ride a fitness bike. I was literally reborn. The quality of life is worlds apart. Before the transplant, I was petrified to see a slope like this.
We try our best to keep the patients survive, as well as maintain a fair quality of lifestyle, so that the operation and the post-operative recovery will have a better outcome as well.
In the past decade, I had organ rejection and pneumonia, but I recovered swiftly every time. In recent years, I've stabilized. I can do sports, hike, and do volunteer work.
In 2013, 9 hearts were donated in Hong Kong. About 20 patients are still queuing for a heart graft.
Heartfelt thanks to the donor family for their unconditional love, so I got to raise my son.
Suitable donor organs have to be free of any heart disease, long-term hypertension, diabetes, or high cholesterol. That's why we still have very limited organ donations.
3 years ago, Queenie Chu developed a cough that persisted half a year.
Once I walked along this Haiphong Road, I was gasping heavily. I rested 3 to 4 times and still couldn't reach the end of Haiphong Road. Then I knew it couldn't be a regular illness.
Queenie went to Ruttenji Hospital.
I was shocked. The doctor refused to discharge me. He said once you leave the hospital, you'll die, so I relented.
She needed very high flow oxygen. She is suffering from a very rare condition called lymphangioliomyomatosis.
LAM for short, it has no conclusive etiology yet.
This condition is abnormal growth of muscle cell inside the lung. Muscle cell will destroy the normal lung tissue. The oxygen inside the air cannot diffuse into the blood capillaries. A lot of organs will be affected.
The illness reacts adversely to oily foods.
I felt hopeless because I could only eat poached foods. In speech, I'd stop and fight for breath after 2 seconds.
Queenie could no longer work as an insurance broker. After 2 months at Ruttenji, Queenie was given an oxygen concentrator to use at home, round the clock.
That machines actually concentrate the air in the environment into oxygen.
I used every ounce of energy in me just to breathe every day. The length of the cannula determined how far I could go.
6 months later, Queenie was back in Ruttenji. She was accumulating too much carbon dioxide.
She will feel very tired, even sometimes confused.
Doctor said it'd be risky to stay home in case I fall into a coma.
We have to put her on a non-invasive ventilation machine to breathe out the carbon dioxide. Her lung is too delicate. If we use a higher pressure for her, the lung may burst. She gradually deteriorates. Transplantation is the ultimate solution.
Queenie was put on a waiting list for a lung graft at Grantham Hospital.
I lived in fear daily, didn't know if I'd get one.
Many a times we do not have the suitable lung organs for transplant. Patients who are deceased and will be put on mechanical ventilation, and there might be some lung injuries. Patients suitable for lung transplant are not that many. They're really too far gone. Their musculoskeletal function are all compromised. We need to move our chest to breathe.
In late 2012, Queenie got a lung transplant, the 19th one in 2 decades in Hong Kong.
Had I not received the transplant then, I don't think I'd be sitting here today.
In 2013, there were 1 double and 2 single cadaveric lung donations in Hong Kong and 15 patients on the waiting list. Some advanced countries have procedures grafting parts of the lungs of healthy donors to save lives.
But this is technically very demanding and very challenging. At the moment in Hong Kong, we have decided that we will continue to do the cadaveric lung transplant.
In the year following the transplant,
My life gradually resumed normal. I no longer see myself as a patient. I try to do simple exercises like hiking.
in Hong Kong, potential donors can opt in to give away organs posthumously by registering online or signing an organ donation card.
I'm very grateful for the donor and the family for their selflessness.
Some 140,000 people have opted in Hong Kong. In 2012, there were only 7.2 cadaveric organ donors in every 1 million people here.
The result is not really satisfactory. When compared with countries like Spain, it's nearly 5 times of the Hong Kong's organ donation rates.
Not everyone can be an organ donor. To be able to donate your organ after death is a blessing. Less than 1% of the family say no to organ donation, even though the deceased has expressed their wish.
With no opt-in, the corpse belongs to the next of kin by law.
You don't add the pressure to your family to do the decision for you at that stressful moment.
Jenny is one of 7 transplant coordinators in Hong Kong. Doctors often contact them for news of suitable organs.
I also sometimes talk to the surgeon and say that don't push us, you have to follow and respect the pace of the family.
French scuba diving instructor Guillaume Ponticelli. His eldest son Antoine was also a sportsman.
He was very generous. He wanted to be pilot in helicopter to rescue people.
and even had some air rescue pilot training. In 2012, he died crashing his bike.
He was going too fast.
Antoine was 17. Jenny weighed in.
Saying, okay guys, here is the fact. You have your son clinically dead. The brain is out. However, all the rest of the body is okay. You have the possibility to save people. Now you make your own decision.
The family had 48 hours to decide.
Which was awful for us.
We will provide the acute grief support to the family. We will help them to understand and accept the death. And last, we will offer the choice of organ donation.
Without those information, we would never give organs. That's where Jenny was important. Sometimes I was extremely rude.
Guillaume donated all of Antoine's organs.
Kind of relief, even though thinking that you will remove part of your son. This is something very difficult as well to accept.
Organs can legally be extracted once a donor is certified brain dead.
Brain death is a very defined scenario. Stroke, head trauma, hypoxia, and also a primary brain tumor. There are 4 categories most commonly found in our donors.
When Antoine was certified brain dead, the family kept him on artificial respiration.
We didn't want to make a quick decision because it's so brutal, the death of our son. And then at that time, you have hours flying.
In those hours, Antoine's lungs became too shrunken for transplant.
Today, if I would go past in such dramatic event, the decision would have been quicker, and probably we could use as well the lungs to save additional people.
Antoine's other organs ended up saving 5 lives, including a baby and an adult rescued by his young, healthy liver.
It was a kind of transfer. I was imagining doing his job even later on. I'm sure he would give his life to save other people. I was, my wife as well, extremely positively surprised.
Well, thank you for watching our show. It will be re-aired on Tuesday and Saturday, as well as on tvbeat.com. Until next time, from the Pearl Report team, good night, good luck, good health, and may all your dreams come true in 2014.